Barbs Breakdown is back. I got Riley McManus with me today, my color analyst over at Framingham State University. We got a cool announcement about FSU coming up in a little bit. But the biggest things on the docket today, LeBron James is a 76er. That we're going to start off with that because that's obviously the biggest news in sports. That just kind of worked out for us. We weren't expecting to have him sign. We had planned to record today. I think we planned this on Wednesday, and we were texting yesterday, and it was just like, okay, cool. Let's do some like possible LeBron landing spots. The title of the segment was LeBron's looming decision. The decision loomed, and it officially ended today. LeBron James is a 76er. After that, we're gonna get into our NFL QBs tier list. That graphic will be posted for everybody once this episode is out, so that way you guys could see the official tier list and what we're talking about. And then after that, to wrap things up, we're going to be talking about the biggest games of this upcoming college football season. We're going to go for about 7 games. I don't like 5, and I think 10 might be a little bit too much. Let's go right in the middle there with 7 to 8, 6, 7. Yeah, obligatory 6-7 joke out of the way.
Sure.
Let's get right into it. Barb's Breakdown is back. We got Riley McManus. We're going to have one hell of an episode.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news, LeBron James is a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. The news just broke about an hour ago. Riley, I want to get your immediate thoughts real quick. It's a 2-year, $8 million contract. Just wow. Like, I think that there were some people expecting this after the Jaylen Brown trade happened, but I don't think that it was necessarily like, okay, a done deal that he was going to go to the 76ers.
Yeah, so we saw that little segment with him and Rich Paul. They had the whiteboard up and all the teams that he was looking for. Obviously, Jaylen Brown now joining this team definitely played a huge role in it. But at age 41, he's going to be entering his 24th season contract, going to run through his 25th season in the NBA. So it's truly just a huge addition to this Philadelphia 76ers team.
Now, it's a 2-year contract. He's running through the 28th season. This is a little conspiracy theory that I might have. He calls it quits after the Summer Olympics in 2028 when they're on U.S. soil. USA basketball wins the gold medal. LeBron James announces his retirement.
Yeah, not a bad take at all. I think we've been assuming this guy's going to retire seemingly every season, and he never stops. And what a perfect time, go through that summer in LA, get some buckets with all these older guys, and maybe everybody just rides off into the sunset after that.
Yeah, I mean, it could. Who knows? Maybe that could be the end of this generation's big 3 of Steph, LeBron, and KD. Maybe that they all hang it up at the 28 Olympics. That could be a very interesting thing. I saw a tweet here immediately. It's from the Zodiac GM, at the Zodiac GM on Twitter. The synergy grade for this signing is an A+.
Mm-hmm.
With LeBron James, in parentheses, Capricorn, now in the fold, the 76ers just became a legitimate problem in the East. Connects well with Maxey, Embiid, and Brown. Wild card, Coach Nurse and VJ Edgecombe. Those are the 2 wild cards, according to the Zodiac GM. Interesting right there. The Capricorn mention makes sense. Zodiac GM is the guy's Twitter handle, or girl or guy's Twitter handle. But yeah, man, I mean, this whole thing, like, what does this mean for the rest of the East right now? And also, by the way, let's just take a quick financial breakdown. In 2026-2027, which is this upcoming year, LeBron James is going to be making $3.88 million. That's less than the top paid college athletes, by the way.
Crazy.
Like, when did we ever think that there would be a world where LeBron is getting paid less than college athletes?
So he talked about, he's like, oh, well, whatever team, if there's an opportunity for me, like, I'll be more than happy to take a pay cut. We're not going to believe that. The guy just made a boatload of money with the Lakers. And then here you see a 2-year deal, $8 million to $3.88 million this year. I mean, he's willing to join a team, make this team in the 76ers better, even if it means he's not going to get a single penny for it.
This signing opened things up as well, because the fact that a guy like LeBron was able to take the vet minimum, this is a trade that I had put out there into the ether just on my own. I'd never brought it public, but I kind of want to bring it public now. Bill Simmons brought it up, and then I put it into, like, he brought it up as like a joke, but then I actually like went in depth with it, and I made the trade on Spotrac. It's Joel Embiid to the Milwaukee Bucks in return for Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma's expiring. And that's,
I don't mind that.
It gets Philly out of dear second apron territory, because now you're taking on the massive contract that is Paul George, or not Paul George, Jaylen Brown. You got rid of the Paul George contract, but you got back Jaylen
Yeah,
Brown's.
you're just flopping
That's
those,
that's a
exactly.
swap. And then on top of that, you still have Joel Embiid making $56 million a year plus after the next 2 years. That's going to take up so much of the cap, especially considering at this point when we're talking about the first apron, second apron. The second apron is the defining factor of the NBA right now. The cap went down by 6% this year.
Yeah, you and I were talking off the air here before we jumped on the pod. The injury issues with Embiid as well. James is going to take his minutes restrictions, and he's gonna be out there not playing every single game every night. So if you're able to bring in a big man like Turner, get rid of that injury issues and Embiid, get rid of that big contract, get yourself under the second apron, and now you got another versatile big man in Miles Turner, and then you get to pair somebody with Kuzma off the bench too. I think that is a really solid idea for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, the Kuzma expiring, you know what you're getting with him. He's a solid role player at this point. He's a bench player.
Yep.
But the Miles Turner signing would be big because you get younger, you get healthier, and you get less expensive at the center position, which that could be huge. And we saw that Miles Turner can really hold it down, especially in the paint and especially in a deep playoff run like the Indiana Pacers did way back when. I say way back when, it was just 2 years ago, but it feels like way back when, especially coming off of what was one of the most incredible finals of all time between, hey mom, what's up? I see you back there. Between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. We're gonna keep pushing through here. This is a really cool tweet from Legion Hoops that just went out. It's insane. This is just an insane fact right here. On the 24th day of the month, and in the 81st NBA season, LeBron James signs with Kobe Bryant's home team of the Philadelphia 76ers.
That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty
I
fantastic.
feel like a lot of these people out here always like to pull up the little Kobe stats, whether if it's the 8, the 24, or 81. Pretty crazy number right there.
This one kind of melds together pretty well. Kobe Bryant's hometown team obviously is from Philly. Everybody knows that 76ers. LeBron will be going there now. What does this mean for the rest of the East? How do they stack up against the rest of the East? Because I have my top 10 list. I have my top 10 list of the teams that I think should be in the playoffs next year, playing through. But I just wanted to get your take real quick. What does this mean for literally everybody else?
So in the wise words of John Morant, I'm fine in the West. We're gonna take that here to the East. I really don't think anybody's gonna be able to stack up here personally. I would say the Knicks, obviously defending champions, they are probably the team that I would consider to be the closest to matching up with this team. Again, I think it's really going to come down to the injury issues. How much is LeBron going to play? How much is he going to contribute? Because you got guys in the starting lineup. Lineup's probably going to look like Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, James, and Embiid. One ball on the floor, you got to share it around with those five guys. How well is LeBron going to contribute? Is he going to be the second option, third option, even with if Embiid's on the floor? Just want to see how he matches up. But I really think it's just going to be a two-man race at the top between the Knicks and the Sixers right now.
What about, and we could get deeper into this. This is my top 10 list. And I made this right after the Jaylen Brown trade, so it's going to get switched around a little bit here on the fly. Eastern Conference rankings as of right now, Knicks are going to be 1 just because they're the NBA champions, Eastern Conference champions. They're the defending champions. Number 2 is now the Sixers after this the LeBron trade, signing in the Jaylen Brown trade. Number 3 would be the Cavs. For me, still. I still think that they have a solid team over there. I really like Evan Mobley in the paint. I really like the fact that they locked up Donovan Mitchell. I don't like the fact that you're probably going to be paying a 34-year-old Donovan Mitchell $76 million in a couple of years. So they might want to retool that or possibly send him on his way if he proves himself enough and they could get enough in return. This is where it gets interesting. The Pistons are at 4 as of right now.
Okay.
I think they were just too young last year as a 1 seed, and they needed that experience of kind of going through their trials and tribulations. I have the Raptors at 5 if this Kawhi trade goes through. And that's if the Kawhi trade goes through. I have the Raptors at 5.
Okay.
I have the Heat at 6. Celtics at 7.
Wow.
We'll see what happens with the Celtics.
Okay.
I'm kind of low on them right now, and that's not even me being a New York guy and just hating on the Celtics. That's quite literally, you just traded away your best player, and Jason Tatum showed that he couldn't even make it through a full 7-game series last year after rushing back from an Achilles injury.
Yep.
At 8, you have the Wizards because you have no idea what they're going to be. They could be as high as like the 5 seed. They really could. They could be as high as the 5 seed and be as low as not even in the playoffs.
I mean, AJ could single-handedly put the team on his back if you want as a rookie.
And it's
Just
not
see what
even,
happens.
yeah, it's that, and I think it's also the fact that we still got to see. Like, I want to truly see what Trae Young is made of. Did he deserve that big contract? I don't believe so, but I also believe that he's still a good player, and he's still, in my opinion, I'd put him as a top 7 point guard in the East. So if not top 5. So I think as of right now, because I'm not putting Peyton Pritchard over him, which, by the way, the Celtics saying that Peyton Pritchard needs to take a Jalen Brunson type leap is a bit insane. But
So as a Celtics fan, completely just absolutely hate that take from the Celtics front office. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna get a guy that averages 32, facilitates the ball well." Like that's not gonna happen for Pritchard. But adding on to that Wizards point, you also got the guy made of glass and Anthony Davis. If
yep.
he decides that he wants to play, north of 20 games this year, see what happens there for the Wizards as well.
Yeah. And then I have at 9, I have the Pacers. I think that they're
Okay.
going to get into the play in here this year. And then at
Sure.
10, I have the Chicago Bulls. I'm loving what Caleb Wilson is bringing to the table right now. And I know that
Looks really good.
everyone could look good in summer league, but I think there's something about this guy in particular that he's going to be special. And
Yeah, he
also,
looked really good in Vegas in the summer league. Looked really good.
the last time that, the Bulls drafted a slashing guy out of North Carolina with a top 5 pick, it's Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
It's Michael Jordan. So,
Sure.
that's big expectations to live up to, but at the same time, man, I think he's killing it right now in Summer League. But LeBron James to the 76ers, we'll have more on this as the story develops a little bit more. But he was hinting at it at Fanatics Fest. He said on his panel, you got to trust the process. The crowd went nuts, and he had to calm everybody down and be like, no, it's not about the 76ers. It was about the 76ers. LeBron,
Definitely.
he's the king of lying. And I love LeBron. He's my GOAT. He should be everybody's GOAT. He's the greatest player of all time. But he loves to lie, man. The Kobe 81 story. That's like right then,
Yep.
right there. That's Exhibit A. Now he's just straight up lying to people's faces. No. When I say trust the process, it's not about the 76ers. I'm just going to sign with them like literally a week later.
Yep.
It's Friday, July 24th. That panel was on Saturday, July 18th. There you go.
Pretty crazy.
Less than a week later. Any last thoughts on this signing as of right now, and how this shapes the rest of the East and possibly the NBA?
Yeah, so I kind of want to see now what is Jalen Brown's role going to look like with this team. As a Celtics fan, obviously Jalen Brown's gone. We bring back Paul George. Fantastic, I guess, right? But what is his role going to look like? Because he was the guy taking the Celtics all the way through a tremendous regular season last year. He's got, I think the usage rate was through the roof for him last year. So what's his role going to look like? You got Maxey, who's going to shoot those limitless threes from anywhere. You got Edgecombe, who can get hot in any moment. Brown, as you mentioned, is going to be a very solid piece for them. And then you got the two big men in James and Embiid. So as I mentioned earlier, only one ball. But how is Brown's role going to settle in here? What's James going to do? And then the two guards in Maxey and Edgecombe, those guys also need the rock too.
I think you say goodbye to Embiid. I think that's the answer at this point.
I
Like
also think
I
so too.
truly think that
Yes.
it is. He got one good MVP and then another pity MVP. And then on the flip side of that, what has he done ever in the playoffs? And then on top of that, what has he done in the last 5 years, or not the last 5 years, in the last 3 years in general? Like he hasn't been on the court, and he hasn't been a factor except for that Boston series, and then he was a non-factor in the New York series when they got their doors blown in a
Yes.
sweep. So it's like, I think there's enough of a sample size to where you say it might be time to move on from Joel Embiid, especially with the second apron, especially with the fact that there are candidates out there where you could get cheaper at that position. And also, I'm not going to say that Miles Turner is better than Joel Embiid, but currently right now for this roster construction and the type of ball that they're going to play now, having LeBron James and having Jaylen Brown, it's going to be different. I think you need to get rid of Joel Embiid. I think you need to dump that salary, either get a couple picks, or maybe, as I mentioned before, and as Bill Simmons mentioned, because I want to give him his credit as well, because he's the one that brought this up, I wanted to flesh it out a little bit more. I think you get cheaper, you get younger, and you get healthier, and I think that's going to be good. And also, you get Kuzma. Kuzma's cool too. It's his expiring. That's going to be a salary dump for the Bucks, but that's an expiring right there. So
I mean,
he'll play a good role. He'll be a good role player off the bench.
I mean, at this point, if you get yourself a top 15, top 20 big man with how many minutes Joel Embiid's playing, how many games he's actually participating in this year, and you can get younger, get rid of that injury history, and as you mentioned, you're getting underneath the second apron. I would take a top 20 big man at this point, fill him right in there in the starting lineup, and then just let those other four guys, James, Brown, Embiid, and Maxey, I mean, not Embiid and Maxey,
Edgecombe?
Edgecombe and Maxey, just go to work.
This is now my next question for you. Last one, I promise. Before we move on, we got QB tier list coming up. What does the starting five look like now? Because they have Dean Wade as well, and they
I
also have
I did hear about that.
so for me, are you going to put JB at the 2? Because as of right now, I would say Maxey's at the point. He'll be running the offense. He's the 1. JB at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Dean Wade at the 4, Embiid at the 5, and then Edgecombe's coming off the bench.
I don't know. Edgecombe, I thought, had a really good jump late in the season last year.
I
He
did
played
too.
really well down the stretch. I personally would start him.
Really?
Although
Because
if you
that
really,
moves it down to where LeBron's playing the 4, JB's playing the 3.
I mean, I'm personally okay with that. Do you not like how that would look like lineup wise?
I think you're paying a little too much for Dean Wade to not have him start.
That's a
And
good
I
point.
also think that he's a little more, and it's weird to say, but in this particular situation, which is like a one of one situation, essentially, the greatest player of all time saying he's going to take a pay cut and then going to the 76ers of all teams.
Yep.
I think I think that you need to put Dean Wade in that starting rotation over VJ Edgecombe because just strictly off of one experience and two, like Edgecombe, I need to see a little more out of him. Like he had a great rookie year, but I need to see that leap that he takes. Is he going to have a sophomore slump or is he going to have, a sophomore leap? So I think that's kind of put in there. And that, obviously this is a fluid situation. This news just dropped. So we'll see as training camp gets closer and everything else how that's all going to shake out. But in my personal opinion, I think that you have Edgecombe in the perfect spot to be 6-man of the year.
Yeah,
I think
I
he's a
think
perfect 6-man candidate.
yeah, and it takes the pressure off him too, right? If
Mm-hmm.
he's not in the starting lineup, he's off the bench. He's helping kind of build that depth that maybe the 76ers are going to need with guys on, taking 2, 3 games off, not
Mm-hmm.
playing back-to-backs. Who knows what Embiid's going to give you? So if all 5 of those guys are healthy, Dean Wade's in there, and then you get Edgecombe off the bench. I think he provides a spark off the bench and some depth to the 76ers team too.
You mentioned it taking pressure off of him, and I think that's a big thing as well because now you can sit back and you can learn from JB. You can learn from LeBron. You can learn even more from Embiid because you two are going to be on the bench together for quite some time. So it'll be another learning experience year for VJ Edgecombe. If anything, more of a learning experience year than last year was because they expected a little more out of him because of just the position that the team was in. So I'm thinking that this is a great signing overall for the 76ers. I don't think that the team gets messed up in any way, shape, or form. And I also think that they're going to be dangerous, man. And I'd say book this right now. A Knicks 76ers Eastern Conference Final or second round series will feed families. And I
Oh, it'll be
cannot wait.
must-watch TV for sure.
It'll scare me because LeBron's really good at the Garden. So it's really good at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
One last LeBron question. The Knicks open up the season. It was originally thought that it was going to be Knicks Celtics. Is it now going to be Knicks 76ers? 76ers taking on the Knicks. The Knicks are raising the banner at MSG. LeBron gets to play at MSG on opening night.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect scenario for the NBA. You got the Knicks who are coming off of that tremendous championship season, pretty much rolling through the playoffs. And you get a team that they swept on their way to the championship in the 76ers, who have revamped their entire roster. You mentioned Dean Wade, but then really the two big ones in Jalen Brown and LeBron James. The 76ers are thinking, we got to build a roster now that's good enough to beat the Knicks that took us down in 4 games. And I think if you're the Knicks, this is a great opportunity to show the league and, a national audience that, hey, this isn't just a 1 year thing. We're going to go take down the 76ers team that just rebuild their team to beat us. And if you're the 76ers, you say, we got nothing to lose here. We get an opportunity with our rebuilt team to try to show the national audience, to show the NBA that, hey, we're building this team to beat the Knicks, and we're going to try to beat the Knicks and ruin their banner night at home.
There you go. You ready to do some NFL QB tiers?
Let's do it.
All right, so for those of you listening at home, the NFL QB tiers will be posted on my Instagram. Go follow Josh_Barbara72. I'll make sure to tag Riley in the post as well. Maybe we do a little collab post. We'll see what happens.
I like it.
The tiers. We got 6 tiers of quarterback. I'll take you from best to worst, Riley. MVP caliber is the top tier. It's the best that you could be. MVP caliber. Second best is greatness. The third one down is cusp of greatness. Now we get in to some of the little wishy-washy tiers. The fourth tier down. One of my favorite memes of all time. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. That's that tier. That's the fourth tier down. The fifth tier down is the other team's best player tier.
Perfect.
And then the sixth and final tier, the lowest tier that you could be as an NFL quarterback, Geno Smith.
That is my favorite tier right there, I
Geno
think.
And by the way, the Geno Smith tier will not just be Geno Smith for those of you
Correct.
listening at home.
Yes.
There's more Geno Smiths than just Geno Smith.
There is.
But
there
of
is.
course, we have to put our king, Geno Smith, in there as well. Not our, the Jets king. I feel terrible.
Sure.
First off, I feel terrible. I say this every time I talk about football. My dad's a Jets fan. He's a lifelong Jets fan. I feel awful for him. And I start to feel worse every single year as the situation gets worse and worse. The next show that we'll be doing is going to be NFL like ceiling, floor, and most realistic like scenario that could happen.
I love it.
A little preview of that. The most realistic scenario for the Jets is Aaron Glenn gets fired and Geno Smith just starts calling the plays on offense for the rest of the year, which leads into the best case, the ceiling for the Jets, which is they get the number 1 overall pick.
Perfect.
So that's a little preview of that.
Great season for the Jets.
It's a great season for the Jets. The first quarterback for the QB tier list, Aaron Rodgers. My vote is to put him into the cusp of greatness territory because that's where he is currently. We're not looking at their career as a whole. We're looking at coming into this season. Where do these quarterbacks fit on this tier list? I put them onto cusp of greatness.
I think I'm personally am a tier below you. There.
You're thinking
I am
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I personally am there.
Okay.
We saw what he could do with the Steelers last year. Another one of those. Oh yay, another 500 year. 9-8, 10-7 type of deal.
Yep.
I mean, I guess we'll see, right? I mean, I guess. But I personally am not going to put him on the cusp of greatness category.
I'm down to put him in the sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit category. I like
Fantastic.
That. I like
Let's
that.
slide him in there.
Baker Mayfield. I was actually going to add another tier originally last night for all the quarterbacks that are currently in like contract negotiations and like stuff like that. He was going to go in that. It would have just been titled Jacoby Brissett's contract. And so it probably would have just been Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield, but I felt like that would have been too harsh, so we weren't going to go there. But Baker Mayfield, I put him on cusp of greatness into greatness. Yep. I think he's like on the top of cusp of greatness, and he's like the lowest guy on greatness.
I'm with you. Yeah, just this again. He's been the guy that's bounced around the league, and he's really just had another one of these recent like resurgence seasons with the Bucks. I think they're going to be great. You do lose Mike Evans, which is maybe something to take a look at.
Yeah.
I think Chris Godwin, if he's healthy, is going to be a huge factor for him. Jalen McMillan, another guy that I think is going to step up in a big way for this Bucks team.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with you putting him right at that top of cusp of greatness for sure.
Can't forget about Tez either.
That's
Tez
right.
Johnson.
Tez.
I think he'll be a good wide receiver 3 this year.
Absolutely.
And when I say wide receiver 3, I feel like in the modern day NFL, the wide receiver 3 is just more of like a utility guy. It's like Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs. It's like he's their wide receiver 3 if he's a true wide receiver, but he's also like just like their main utility guy. So that's what I kind of go with for that. Next one up, Tez Johnson's brother, Bo Nix.
I like Bo Nix at the greatness tier, in my opinion.
Ooh, okay.
He's got the versatility. He's a runner. He's kind of that dual threat quarterback. Really interested to see how he comes back after the ankle injury, which is why I was a little bit hesitant at first to put him in the greatness tier. I think at worst he's cusp of greatness. I mean, he's brought this team. He's got another weapon. He's got Waddle now. Waddle's going to be there on the team. In terms of his quarterback play, I really like the dual threat. I am just a little bit concerned about the foot injury.
I'm going to put him at my personal vote is for cusp of greatness, and it's because we've seen the inconsistencies that are there with the Denver offense as a whole, and I think some of that has to do with Bo Nix himself. his physical attributes are there. I don't necessarily think that the decision making is there sometimes for Bo Nix. I feel like he could possibly be a Justin Herbert in training, you could say.
Sure.
Especially with like Sean Payton's not calling the plays this year. We got to realize Davis Webb is calling the plays now.
Yes. Yep.
He's their offensive coordinator, which the pipeline of former backup quarterbacks to then becoming play callers is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few coming in this year, but Davis Webb having the most eyes on him, I think, just because of the situation that the Broncos are in. I'm down to put him as the first quarterback in greatness, but I'd personally say more of a cusp of greatness guy.
I'm cool to go cusp of greatness with you there.
Okay, just because like I think I need to see a little more out of him, and then on top of that, I think I'm just a bit weary with where he'll be coming off of this injury.
Sure.
I think he's on the same level as Baker Mayfield, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
And
I'm with you.
I'm
That's
down to
good.
put them together there.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, I'd put him in the sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit category.
Yeah, I mean, you really never know what you're going to get out of Bryce Young at this point, right?
He's like the ultimate wild card for young quarterbacks. Like
I mean,
the Panthers, because the Panthers, I don't think that as a team, they're not on the cusp of greatness. I think that the Panthers could be a sneaky team out of the South this year in the NFC, in the sense that they had a little surge at the end of last season, some good momentum coming into this year. And I think that if Bryce could take that step, he could be a cusp of greatness quarterback. Right now, he's sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
yeah, I mean, the South is also absolutely
They're
garbage.
terrible.
Garbage.
It's a bad division.
Yeah.
It's a
So
bad division.
I'm cool with the sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. I would like to see what Tet does if he even continues to get better. He had a great year last year, truly sensational year. But again, what you're getting out of Bryce Young is you'll get him for like 150 yards. He'll throw 3 picks with like the world's worst completion percentage, and the next week he'll come out, throw 350, no interceptions, and 3 passing touchdowns. So it's just you're never gonna get it.
I also want to see about Xavier Legette. I'm
Yeah.
not fully sold on him.
Me too.
I'm not. So I'm not a Xavier Legette hater. I'm also not a Xavier Legette believer. I'm
He
more
was
of a
barely in their offense last year.
yeah.
Like,
I think that they also need to like get him going more. Like
Yes.
he was barely in their offense because they got Tet going, but the whole point of having 2 good wide receivers is to use both good wide receivers.
correct. Yep.
So that's at least my take. Next one, interesting one. Caleb Williams, the Madden 27 cover athlete. Does the cover curse play into effect here? And are we willing to put him in the greatness tier, or do we think that he's on the same level as Baker Mayfield and Bo Nix?
I think he's with those two guys. Yeah. I'm not putting him in that greatness category yet. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I'm glad that everybody is finally, if they want to jump on the Bears train, go right ahead. I personally haven't seen it from Caleb.
I'm not willing to put him. I'm not willing to put him in the greatness category until he has a 4,000-yard passing season, because the Bears have
And
never had that. Believe it
he's
or not.
also he's gonna have Colston Loveland as his number 1 target basically this year. Everybody's talking about.
Rome. It's going to be Rome and Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. That's a pretty good young core right there on offense.
I didn't see a lot from Rome last year. Did you?
I saw enough to where I could get excited about it, because I also think that DJ Moore being a part of that offense, like they're such a balanced offense. Like their run game is fantastic, and then essentially
Yes.
their passing is like, all right, Caleb, go make something happen, and that's like half the offense right there. And then they have the set plays, and obviously Ben Johnson is just like the best offensive play caller in the
Yeah,
league.
he's unbelievable.
I think that they're not gonna be as good as they were last year, but they're also not gonna be as bad as people think that they're gonna be coming off of last year. So
Yeah, I'm. Oh,
no,
go ahead.
no. You say I was done.
I'm looking forward to that Luther Burden jump.
I am.
If he's able to really get himself involved in this offense again, he was kind of shadowed by Rome and DJ Moore last year. I also want to see more from Colson Loveland. That's why I personally think he's going to be the number 1 target. I think Ben Johnson likes his tight ends.
Yeah.
I want to see a good jump from Colson Loveland this year too, and maybe that's what helps catapult Williams to this greatness tier. But for now, I got him at the cusp of greatness with Bacon and Nix.
I'd expect probably 75 to between 65 and 75 receptions, 800 yards, and like 5 to 6 touchdowns from Colston Loveland, which is good. That's what you want out of your secondary tight end. So
Yeah.
that's great. Cam Ward is also, in my opinion, on the cusp of greatness. I
Ooh.
think, and it's not just because I'm a Miami fan. I don't have any Miami bias as of right now towards him. Although I loved what he did at Miami, I'm not a Titans fan. I'm not a Titans guy. I don't know anybody that really is a Titans guy.
Yeah, there's
Um,
not many of them.
so exactly. So I'd put him, but I'd put him at cusp of greatness. I'd put him on the same level as Caleb Williams. I really would.
That's interesting to me.
I,
Would you have him firmly locked in there, or are you having him as kind of a hybrid
he,
between the sometimes maybe good and the cusp of greatness categories?
I'd put him as like the top, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit guy.
Okay. I personally was gonna have him there. I mean, unfortunately, he's got nobody around him. Offensive line has
Yeah,
been pretty bad. He's got like no weapons.
and
So
they were somewhat competitive in certain games last year. And I
yes.
think a
Yep.
lot of that had to do with him, which is why I would put him on the cusp of greatness. I
Yep.
think he's like he's in the sense that Baker Mayfield is the top of the cusp of greatness and the lowest on the greatness. Cam Ward is the top of sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, and then the bottom of cusp of greatness. Just because
I
he's coming
mhm.
into his sophomore season, I think we need to see a little bit more. That's a good point, Riley. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I think if we're gonna put him at the top of the sometimes maybe good category, I think I'm good there.
C.J. Stroud is the next quarterback. And
This is
I might put him in the other team's best player. That might be our first entrance into the other team's best player
thinking the
category.
exact same thing, dude. I'm a Pats fan. Um,
He
I don't
was your
know.
best player in that divisional game.
He's quite literally our best player. Yeah, just throwing the ball to the other team. He's got weapons. He's got there's options.
Tank
Unfortunately,
Dell's
Diggs
coming
is
back.
gone. Dell's coming back. Yes, exactly. Um, we have no idea what's going on in that running back room, really.
Nope.
So yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot with I mean, they're not great weapons, but they're very serviceable for a guy that everybody thought was going to be a top 5 quarterback in the league on a consistent basis throughout his career. He has been pretty awful recently.
Dak Prescott is the next one. I this is a tough one because he's never really been a sometimes maybe good guy,
Correct.
but
Correct.
he's also never really. I think he's like a perfect cusp of greatness quarterback.
Yeah, I'm okay there. I mean,
People
he's
would
got
argue him in greatness, though. No,
people would. I'm not one to argue that at all. I'm cool with keeping him on the cusp
yeah, I
for
am too.
me.
I am too.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it's like, "Oh my God, Dak Prescott." And it's like, "Okay, like there hasn't been a whole lot done with that Cowboys team."
I'm
I
gonna.
mean, he's been loaded with weapons his entire career and he hasn't made anything happen.
He's quite literally made nothing happen. That's yeah.
Yeah.
He's quite literally made nothing happen.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's got two unbelievable wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, who they just locked down for another one of those, years where it's just we don't want to pay wide receivers, so we're going to give you this lazy contract and keep you on board. But yeah, I mean, with all the weapons that he's had around him his entire career, I'm really not expecting much out of him this year, so I think the cusp of greatness is a good spot.
Daniel Jones. You are a sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit quarterback through and
Yeah,
through.
I have no complaints there.
Uh, Deshaun Watson, most likely going to be the guy that wins the starting
Right?
job over Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how you start Shador. Like I'm not sitting here like I'm a Shador hater, but I'm also not a Shador guy. Like I'm
Yeah.
indifferent to it. Like he's a solid fifth round pick, which is what he like that's what it comes down to. He'll be a good backup quarterback. If you get yourself into a bind, he could come in, he'll make a couple games interesting. And
Yeah.
if you're tanking like the Browns have been, he'll still lose you those games that you need to lose in order to keep your draft position. I think Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, it depends on the Deshaun Watson that we get
Yeah.
because he
I'm
hasn't
I'm
played football.
yeah, he hasn't played any football for quite some time.
Yeah,
I think Deshaun Watson in his prime is up there with a greatness, even the cusp of an MVP caliber.
yeah,
Again, with a lot of years off, he's coming in to basically, I mean, he's been on the Browns forever, but hasn't played. He's got KC Concepcion coming in this year, who I personally love.
uh,
I really like how he plays the wide
mhm.
receiver position. Um, I don't know. I mean, I wish there was like an I don't know
Yeah.
category because I just
It's a
don't
bit
know.
of an oversight on my part. I should have
Because
put in.
I mean, he could come in and be a top 8, top 10 quarterback, or he'll go out there and it's going to show that he clearly hasn't played football in multiple years, and you're going to get him and he's going to be a bottom, bottom third, bottom fourth quarterback in the league.
If we're going based off the last time that he played football, I'm putting him in the same category as CJ Stroud, where he's the other team's best player. Because I don't think that
Sure.
the Browns are going to be good. And I think that the Browns are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They don't have a team. Like, they just have some guys that they brought together, and we're like, yeah. Like, they have some guys in Jared Verse. Jared
Yeah.
Verse. Jared Verse.
Jared Verse, I think.
Verse. Jared Verse, it should be.
Yeah.
Jared Verse, yeah. Yeah. I thought it was Gerard because there was like when he was in college. I think that's what people called him. He got to the league. He corrected it quickly to Jared.
Yeah. I mean, he's a beast, but that's got nothing to do with quarterback play, unfortunately.
No, it's not.
Other team's best player. I'm cool with that.
Other team's best player with CJ Stroud. Your quarterback, Riley, is up next. I'm gonna let you take the reins on this one.
I mean, this is my guy. I mean, runner up in MVP voting by a single vote last year. I mean, it pretty much self-explanatory for me at least. He's an MVP caliber quarterback. I'm not saying he's gonna be like a unanimous MVP. I actually think he takes a half step back this year. A lot of high expectations. You do have the AJ Brown. Love AJ Brown. I think that's a great pickup. Even if he doesn't play every single week, I think he is a guy that Drake May is going to rely on a lot. But now we're talking about rebolstering this O-line. Maybe the play action becomes a thing for Drake May. The ground game I still think is going to be great. Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson still going to be a good two-headed horse. But now they're boosting up this O-line to the point where now they can go to the run, they can utilize the play action. But I personally don't think he's going to have another one of those years. I still think the completion percentage is going to be there. I think he might try to force the ball a little bit to Brown. The interceptions might come into play. I still think he's definitely going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. Maybe not, the runner-up or like unanimous MVP that people think. But I still think he's definitely up there in the MVP caliber.
So I also put him in MVP caliber. And then I think the other thing that people are overlooking is this wide receiver core is good, and you're returning Hunter Henry, who's still a solid tight end.
Very solid.
AJ Brown, Kayshon Boutte, Romeo Doubs.
Yeah,
that's a pretty solid 1, 2, 3 right there for your wide receivers.
Boutte might be gone. We'll see what happens with that.
I'd put him at 3. He'd be the 3, but I think he did enough last year to prove his worth, especially like to this like when Stephon Diggs was not getting it done. Kayshon Boutte was butt booty naked open, man. Like a little play on his name there, but yeah, he was wide open downfield, man. And I think that his deep route running is some of the best in the league, and it's underrated as of right now because he hasn't had that breakout season. He had a little bit of a breakout last year. I think Pats keep him around. Kayshon Boutte's going to be good, and he'll be a very valuable weapon, I should say, to this offense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. It's all just a matter of if he wants to stick around and if the Patriots are willing to lock him down for a couple more years here. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think he's up there as our first MVP caliber guy.
All right, next quarterback. Hey, he has a tier named after him. Geno Smith. You're going to be going into the Geno Smith category.
Yeah, no questions there.
There you go.
I'm good with that.
Jared Goff, greatness. That's our first quarterback entry into greatness, in my opinion.
Yep, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Absolutely. He's been surrounded by unbelievable weapons for the past, 3-4 years. He's got versatile running backs. He's still got Gibbs. He's going to be a beast out of the backfield. He's got Amon-Ra. He's got Jameson Williams, who I hope takes a big step this year. He wasn't really utilized until right around that week 8, 9, 10 range last year, where they finally were getting him the ball. But yeah, I have no complaints with that. I think he's a greatness tier.
Justin Herbert is the ultimate, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit QB, but I think that he's more of a cusp of greatness guy.
I'm with you there. Yep.
I think he's more of a cusp of greatness.
I think he needs a healthy O-line. I think that is priority number 1. I think they're claiming that the O-line is healthy. And now it's really just going to matter of, is he getting the ball to McConkey? Is he getting the ball to his playmakers? And hopefully that pans out for him this year. But I'm cool with the cusp of greatness.
Here's a little hypothetical for you, because Mike McDaniel's their offensive coordinator now.
I love that, by the way.
If Justin Herbert can't figure it out with Mike McDaniel as his quarterback or as his offensive coordinator, and Jim Harbaugh as the head coach, is this a do or die year for Justin Herbert? Is essentially what I'm getting at, because I think that it definitely could be. Because people are going to be like, if this year doesn't go well, people are going to be like, well, it's the first year under McDaniel. There's going to be some growing pains. In my opinion, you get an offensive-minded genius like Mike McDaniel in that offensive room calling those plays for that offense. I really don't see how this isn't a do-or-die year right now for Justin Herbert. Because the
I'm
media
with
is
you.
making him out to be like this amazing quarterback and whatnot.
That's what I mean.
But
I see all of these rankings. Herbert, top 5 quarterback.
they
And
have
it's
him
like,
ranked above
how?
Lamar.
It's like how can you say that? Like, I understand the O-line was bad last year. He's getting banged up, pass rush and stuff like that. But I haven't seen enough from him.
They have him ranked above Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs. So that's kind of just my take on
Crazy, dude. Insane.
that. Jacoby Brissett. I'm gonna put him into he's between other teams' best player and sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. I'm gonna put him in sometimes maybe good.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Jacoby Brissett, former Patriots backup
Yep.
for as long as I can remember. Um, Pretty much ignoring Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, he has not blossomed to be anything really all that exciting. Um, Michael Carter, I like him. He was cool last year, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna need to see a couple more years where he could somehow get the Cardinals out of this basement that they've been in forever.
He's also stuck on the Cardinals. He's just like, and we don't even know if he's stuck on the Cardinals technically because of this whole contract situation. But
Right.
so
No clue.
no, like he's just kind of floating, like
Yeah,
he is on this tier list, just a floating head.
pretty
Um,
much.
Jalen Hurts is the next one. He's a cusp of greatness category, if there ever was a cusp of greatness.
I'm not giving
Like it's
him.
him and Herbert, and like everybody that we have in this
Yeah,
tier. There's a reason that they're in this tier.
yeah. I am cool with Hurts there. Has not been a good passer of the football the last 2 years. That's why my guy AJ Brown's coming over to the Pats. He's not getting the football. He's getting
Your
open.
guy, your
Oh,
guy.
he's my guy now. Absolutely. Welcome to the Patriots, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, has not been a good passer of the football. Great. He can run the ball. He can do a tush push. He can run read options with Saquon Barkley, whatever you need him to do. But when it's time for him to really let go of the football and find his guys downfield, he has not been good at it recently. So I think a cusp of greatness is a good spot for him.
Jackson Dart's the next quarterback, and I think I put him in the same tier. I kind of
Oh,
put him in the same tier on the cusp of greatness.
really?
You got to see like what he did last year with the
Phenomenal.
weapons that surrounded him. Like we got to see Jackson Dart play with Malik Neighbors for less than half of a quarter before
Yeah,
Malik Neighbors suffered that injury.
I
And on
know.
top of that, you saw the guy like Wandale. He had Wandale Robinson as a 1,000-yard receiver.
Crazy.
So I think that with this bolstered offensive line, the bolstered offense in general, I think Jackson Dart is on the cusp of greatness if he can really put something together this year. And then maybe he could get moved up to greatness for the 27 season.
I'm okay with that. My only concern is Malik Neighbors looks horrible right now.
Yeah,
Have
but there's other
like
guys like that wide receiver room right now is pretty good for the Giants, man. Like it's not a bad one. It's like your average Steelers wide receiver room.
well, so Wandale Robinson is gone now.
Yeah.
He's on the Titans.
Yeah.
I personally would like to sometimes maybe good, but I can all of those reasons are very valid for why he can be a cusp of greatness. I don't think he's up there with the Knickses and the Mayfields yet.
I'd put him
Um,
that's a good point.
I think he is maybe towards the backer half of that tier. But you're right. One good year with a healthy, both a healthy Dart and a healthy Neighbors could definitely be the difference. And
Uh
they got Isaiah Likely too.
they have it's the wide receivers when fully healthy. This is the depth chart. It's Malik Neighbors, Darius Dropton, who I don't like. I'm not a Darius Slayton guy. I never have been. I don't know why the
No,
Giants still have him.
no.
Darnell Mooney,
Okay.
Calvin Austin, Malachi Fields, the rookie,
Yep.
OBJ, Braxton Berrios, Isaiah Hodgins. It's essentially a constant rotating door of can you catch the football and can you get us 5 yards after the
I mean,
catch?
you said it perfectly. It's the Steelers. I mean, Calvin Johnson's coming over from the Steelers.
Megatron.
No,
You
no.
just said You mean Calvin Austin, right?
I mean Calvin
Okay.
Austin.
I got really
Imagine
scared
he's
there
just
for a
back.
second.
He's like, boom.
It's like, bang, I'm going to wear 81 for the Giants.
I like Darnell Mooney. I know there's not a lot of people on board with Mooney. I'm personally a big fan of Mooney.
I am too.
So I think if he gets maybe Neighbors isn't ready to go for a couple of weeks here, and you really give him an opportunity to shine. And whenever Neighbors is back, now all of a sudden you got two solid wide receivers in Mooney and Neighbors. I think that's a good wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm personally putting him at the back end of that cusp of greatness category.
Yeah, I put him there. Honestly, yeah. I put him there. I put him with Jalen Hurts as the bottom two.
Cool.
Jaden Daniels is the next one. We're gonna keep this going here because we're running out of time. But
all right,
we're gonna keep this chugging along here. We'll go with a little rapid fire maybe. Jaden Daniels is a greatness category in my opinion. I've seen enough.
Wow.
I've seen enough. I think that injuries, if you turn injuries off, he's possibly MVP caliber.
Yeah, so you pretty much just need a full year out of him this year, and
Mhm.
I think he's up there in the greatness category as well.
I
No
agree.
complaints.
Next up, 9, J.J. McCarthy. You're going into the Geno Smith category.
Yeah, as a Michigan fan, this guy has been absolutely horrible since he left Michigan. So go ahead and put that guy in the Geno Smith category.
Geno Smith. Joe Burrow, greatness.
Yes, no complaints. I'm so sick of people being like, oh, well, Joe Burrow hasn't done this, hasn't done that. Been hurt. You still got Jamar Chase. You still got T. Higgins. He's still going to get his team to kind of that cusp of a wild card spot, maybe even better every single year.
Do people forget that they were literally a drive away from winning the Super Bowl against the Rams?
And I think if they do win that Super Bowl, I think the argument of him being outside of a top 5 quarterback just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. No, literally. I think, yeah.
If he wins a Super Bowl, he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. No questions asked.
Easily. Or even an MVP. Like, if he has a Lamar Jackson... If he has Lamar Jackson's career, he's a top 5 quarterback, which Lamar should be a top 5 quarterback, but we'll get into that shortly. Okay. Our guy from Green Bay. Jordan Love.
I mean, it's crazy. I kind of honestly feel bad for him. The guy's got 7 wide receivers that can be on the field at any point in time.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like you get this formation, it's these 3 guys, 4 guys, this next formation, and it's totally different. I am okay with putting him in either another team's best player or sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit category.
I'd put him in the sometimes maybe good category. I think he's alongside these other QBs that are in there right now, being Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think he's kind of mixed in that category as well.
Josh Allen, MVP caliber. I feel like that's like the AFC East duel between the Bills and the Patriots is going to be just peak this year. It's just going to be amazing.
I'll tell you what, though, it could be interesting. Patriots maybe kind of start passing these guys in the East again. They're not able to get things done in the playoffs.
We'll see what happens.
But as for this year, yeah, MVP. No
MVP
question.
caliber. Kirk Cousins is his agent might be the best agent of all time.
Oh my God.
Like, can we start off with that?
So much money for doing nothing.
Whoever Kirk Cousins' agent is easily an NFL Hall of Famer. Like, he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Kirk Cousins, not a Hall of Famer. Kirk Cousins' agent, Hall of Famer.
Yep.
I might try and get that graphic made so we can post that too. I'm gonna put him in the same category as Jordan Love, Daniel Jones. I think he's a sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit QB.
And 6 weeks into the year, we might see a guy that we see a little bit later onto this graphic. Maybe jump him for a starting job.
Yep.
So no questions there.
We'll see what happens here, man. Kyler Murray is gonna go into the other team's best player category.
Yeah, unless if he somehow brings something out this year with Justin Jefferson and a couple more options that they got. I know TJ Hawkinson. We'll see what happens with him. I got no idea. But I'm cool with that. And but if he takes over 9 starting job and does something, maybe he bumps up. But for now, it's a good spot for him.
I'm going to put Lamar Jackson into the MVP caliber category. He's the next quarterback. I'm putting him into MVP caliber. And a lot of people are low on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson this year. A lot of people are saying, hey, maybe trade Lamar. Are you high? That's a terrible idea.
I love Lamar.
I do too. And here's the other thing. I don't think that he's as bad as everybody's saying he is. I think a lot of it had to do with the schemes that were being run. And on top of that, the current issue that a lot of people have with it is you're going into this year with the same wide receiver group of You have Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and those are your top targets.
Yeah.
People are not talking about Jacoby Lane in the same way that I thought they should be. I think he's going to be stellar. I think he's going to be possibly a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And there's so many people that are just off of Zay Flowers. I mean,
I am too.
I'm really not on board with him. I liked him a couple of years ago a lot, but he hasn't really made a jump in my opinion. So I'm interested to see what Lamar does with the weapons, but he's still an MVP caliber quarterback, absolutely.
Mahomes, I'm putting him into greatness. I'm not putting him in MVP caliber for this year. I think coming off of that injury in particular,
yes.
I think you're getting a new play caller in Eric Bieniemy, who was your former play caller, but now you're bringing him back. You obviously get that nice little like layer of protection when it comes to having Kenneth Walker now, so you could rely on the run game a little bit more.
Yep.
You have Rashee Rice coming back, but Travis Kelce's not getting any younger.
No, he's not.
And Xavier Worthy is not a wide receiver 1, in my opinion, or 2. I think he's a wide receiver 3 as a traditional, and then he's a great gadget guy. But I am going to have to put Mahomes in the greatness tier in the same sense like Bo Nix would be in the greatness tier if he wasn't coming off that injury.
Yep,
I think we have to give Mahomes that same type of, feel.
Yeah, totally fine.
This is a good one. Malik Willis, the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
So it's really interesting. Malik Willis has a lot of cool spurts where he's just like a really solid quarterback and can run a little bit.
Yeah.
But not on this team.
No, not
this is not the team. This is not the wide receiver, the weapons room for him.
We're gonna other team's best player. I'm not willing to put him in the same category as Geno Smith and JJ McCarthy.
No, he's definitely half step better than those guys for sure. Yep.
All right, last year's MVP Matt Stafford. Obviously, we're gonna put him in MVP caliber.
Yep, right back up there.
Defending MVP. It's going to probably be his last season, and if Aaron Donald becomes a Los Angeles Ram once again, they're Super Bowl favorites. Like off rip right there.
Easily.
Fernando Mendoza.
I mean, I think you got to put him right in the middle, right? The sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit category.
I'm going to put him right there with Kirk Cousins because he could be 1, replacing Kirk Cousins, and 2, we don't know how he's going to be at the NFL level.
Yeah, he's definitely not another team's best player. We haven't seen anything from him in the NFL level, but he's definitely not a big interceptions guy, and he's also not Geno Smith, so I think he's good there.
Not listed on this graphic, but Michael Penix, I wanted to throw that in because a lot of people think that Tua is going to be that starting job, get that starting job. But in the same sense that we're talking about possibly 2 different QBs starting throughout the year, Michael Penix, in my opinion, would also go into the sometimes maybe good category.
Yeah. It's weird because both of those quarterbacks are not really all that impressive from what I have seen so far from what Penix gave me for the Falcons and what we've seen from Tua these last couple of years. I think that also limits Drake London's value this year as well. I don't think London is going to be the guy that everybody thinks he is. But yeah, I am cool with him in the sometimes maybe good, and I think I would maybe even have Tua be a little bit less than him. In my opinion,
I'm putting Tua in the other team's best player category.
That's good that we're on the same page there. Perfect.
Brock Purdy is on the cusp of greatness.
Yep.
But I think
no questions there.
I think he's closer to the top of that category.
Yes.
I'd put him between Mayfield and Knicks.
Yep.
I think that's a good spot.
Mr. Irrelevant basically being a top half of the league quarterback every single year on a consistent basis. I think that's a good spot for him.
Sam Darnold, greatness. I'd never thought those words would come out of my mouth.
Yeah, he's been very good.
Yeah.
He has been very good. He's been absolutely solid on the Vikings. For some reason, didn't want to give that guy some money. Goes to the Seahawks and he wins them a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I'm cool.
Yeah. Next thing is going to be. Hang on. I think there's like a smudge on my monitor. Yeah. Okay. I thought that it was on the camera. That wouldn't have been good.
No.
Trevor Lawrence. Best case scenario for him this year is that he becomes an MVP candidate.
Yes.
Worst case scenario is that he's regresses again. Even though he didn't regress last year, people are like saying like, oh, he could possibly regress this year. I don't believe that. I'd put him on cusp.
I'm with you there. I think if he takes even a half step forward, I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Yep.
I think we need to see that from him. I think the Jaguars they're close. I think they need something out of BTJ. So they need to get something going there in the receiver room. It can't be Parker Washington
No.
every week. They need to get something going, or they need to go get a wide receiver for Lawrence. But yeah, I think a cusp of greatness is a good spot.
Last quarterback, not ending it off on a crazy bang here,
No,
but Shuck. Quote unquote the most catchable balls in the league.
I mean, I had my guy Chris Olave taking me to that fantasy championship I was talking about not too long ago.
Yep.
So I'm on board with Shuck. He had a great end of the year last year. He finished on a very strong note, although the Saints didn't. And I don't think the Saints are going to continue to be anything all that special coming down the road here. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think he's on the cusp yet. He's had one good year. I would like him top half, basically very top of sometimes maybe good. And if you feel like throwing him in the back half
I,
of cusp, you can.
I originally had him in the back half of Cusp, and then I saw the fact that we have Cam Ward down there as well. So we're gonna put Cam Ward and Tyler Shuck together in the sometimes maybe good category.
Perfect.
So that's the tier list. If you were able to stick around and listen through that that this is now a 40-minute segment for the QB tier list.
I
If you
like it.
stuck
I'm
around,
fired up for football season,
I am
man. I'm
too.
so excited.
I am too. If you stuck around, thank you. This tier list will be posted on our Instagrams, so you could go check out that tier list once this episode of Barb's Breakdown is posted. Final segment of this show: college football's biggest games of the year. College football is about a month away. Today's the 24th. The first college football game takes place on August 29th for week 0. So we're coming up on it. And I just kind of wanted to go through some of the biggest games of the year that could potentially be happening here. So, Riley, we're going to each give 7 games, and they can be the same. It's not like we can't have any overlap here. So what's your
Cool.
7th? We'll go off here, and it doesn't have to be in a particular order either, but the 7th biggest game on your list as of right now.
Yeah. So I am really a fan of this Clemson LSU game that's coming our way in week 1. I might have quite a few games of LSU on here, unfortunately. But I'm a big fan of Lane Kiffin. I think he is going to bring tremendous things to this LSU team, try to get them over the hump. They've been struggling a little bit. They really haven't had a stellar year since Joe Burrow, and the Jamar Chase and just all of those weapons that they had kind of during that stretch. That's also a night game at home for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be a tremendous start to this college football season.
I had that as my biggest game of week 1. I had that as my biggest. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I had that
so
as
do
my
I.
biggest week 1 game.
Yep,
Uh,
so do I. I
so
just think that game stands out a lot, especially for the season for me.
As far as it goes here for a couple other things. So first off, we would be remiss to say week 0 is happening, and I think it's what is it? UNC and TCU are in Dublin.
UNC and TCU in Dublin.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think
I don't.
that's what that is right there.
I think I will watch it because college football is back. I
Yep.
do not think I will watch it expecting anything fantastic.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
That's how it should be. That's exactly how it should be.
Yep.
And then yeah, obviously this Clemson and LSU game is gonna be fucking amazing, dude. I
Yep.
can't I literally cannot wait for college football to come back. I need it. I
It's
need it now.
it's going to be a fantastic
My
matchup.
7th biggest game of this upcoming season is going to be, where is it? Here it is. Texas and Texas A&M. It's
Oh,
Texas at A&M. Texas obviously has even more expectations coming into this year than they had last year with Manning returning. You get Cam Coleman, who is the number 1 wide receiver in the transfer portal. You
yep.
pair those two guys up. You know that the trenches are going to be good for Texas because they always are. You know that defense is going to be pretty damn good as well. And you know that secondary for Texas is going to have to find a way to shut down some of these Texas A&M wide receivers. I'm not sold on Marcel Reed. Never have
Nope.
been. Probably never will be unless he shows me something this year. This game takes place on November 27th. It's a game that's later in the year. It is rivalry week. That's that Thanksgiving week rivalry week
Yep.
game.
Yep.
We finally get Texas at Texas A&M. I think that this is going to essentially decide one of these two teams playing in the SEC championship game.
I think that's a good take. I got to see something out of Arch Manning this year.
Mm-hmm.
He picking on the non-conference weaker schedule last year. He's obviously got the talent with the legs. I just got to see a little bit more out of him in the passing game this year, and I think he's going to be something special.
And he shows flashes too, which is like
He
really
does.
annoying. Like he'll show
Yes.
flashes of greatness, and you're just like, man, no wonder this kid's a Manning. And then you
Yeah.
just see the rest of him, and you're like, oh, that's also a very Manning.
Yes.
He goes from Peyton to Eli really quick,
Really quick. Yep.
like ridiculously quick.
Bounces back and forth between those two for sure.
Another game that I had circled. This was a big game last year. It's a big out of conference matchup. These two teams played each other last year at Oklahoma, but it's Oklahoma now at Michigan at the Big House. Because I'm gonna be honest with you here. I'm a little higher on Michigan than I think I should be, but I have a lot of faith in Whittingham coming in and possibly changing this
Me
around.
too. I think that was a great hire for Michigan. Yeah, I think they got to get something going with the air game here. We got to be passing the football a little bit more. Obviously, Michigan is very much known for just getting, 5-star running backs and 5-star offensive linemen and just saying, all right, let's go to work in the trenches. But I got to see a little bit more from them. But I really like that game. That's also a game I had highlighted on my list too.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that when it comes down to Michigan this year is you're getting a lot of those transfers from Utah that made that Utah team really good.
Yes.
And so I think that the amount of players that are following Coach Whittingham to Michigan, I think that's going to play a big factor into how good this Michigan team is this year. Because not only do you have the Michigan recruiting class from Sharon Moore, that the majority of them stayed. Now you have these big Polynesian dudes that were up front at Utah, and they're going to be, oh my gosh, I can't wait to just see like a double pull, like if like that, like they're gonna pull the guard and tackle down the line
Yep.
at one point just to open
Kick it.
something up on like a
Yep.
read option, and it's just gonna be beautiful to win this. Like I really like I cannot wait.
I need something that's not Bryce Underwood running for 120 yards a game, though.
Exactly.
I need something through the air from him this year. So we'll see what happens. A whole lot of NIL in that guy. So I need to see something going on in the air from him.
The next game that I'm going to bring up here for biggest games, a rematch, Ohio State at Texas.
Yes, another game that I had on my list. I mean, that is going to be something special this year. I'm looking forward to that game. That's an earlier one too, September
Mm-hmm.
12th in Texas.
Same week as Oklahoma and Michigan. That's going to be a
Yes.
fun Saturday.
It is. I'm looking forward to having these Saturdays back of just unbelievable college football. But yeah, this is one of the games that I had pretty high on my list too this year. You got a powerhouse in Ohio State. It pains me to say it as a Michigan fan, but they have been solid, and you kind of get to see of what another year of Arch Manning looks like. And as you mentioned, the defense is unbelievable for them, so I'm excited for that one.
I'm going to pivot here. This is going to be another Ohio State game.
Okay.
It's Oregon at Ohio State. Ohio State now gets to host the Ducks in the shoe, returning the favor from last year.
I mean, you can pretty much pick any of those three teams, right? You can give yourself an Ohio State, an Oregon, a Michigan, and if any of those teams match up at any point during the year, it's probably going to be something pretty special. Each of those teams has easily got top 10 potential every single year, and the three of them are going to stack up really nicely at the top of the Big Ten. So that's also another game that I had on my list as well.
And then to round out this whole Big Ten talk real quick, gotta have it on the list. You know exactly what I'm gonna say. It's the game. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like number 2, I think, for my most hyped games. And the only reason that it's not number 1 is because I let my personal bias get in the way a little bit of my number 1 pick.
Sure.
But Ohio State Michigan is always my number 2. It's the game. Like even if you are not a fan of one of those two teams, what else are you going to be doing noon Saturday right after Thanksgiving? It's Ohio State Michigan. Like
Yeah,
everybody does it.
Yeah, you can't beat it. And I'm fortunate enough to be a Michigan fan where I'm bought into this every single year, regardless of records. You got to beat Ohio State. It's simple as that. But yeah, that's another easily top 3 game on the schedule this year.
From the outside looking in, the hate that gets produced between these two fan bases is amazing. Like just seriously from the outside looking in, it's incredible to witness because it's like rivalries mean more to true college football fans than the college football playoff does. Like winning a national championship is everything, but if you're a Michigan fan or an Ohio State fan, you're like, okay, it would be nice to win the national championship, but we need to beat these dudes. Like that's our national championship game. So it's such a unique atmosphere, and I can't wait. Every single year, I can't wait for that game.
Great.
Next game on my list was Ohio State at Indiana.
Yep. Also another game that I have on my list. I mean, just Big Ten, just powerhouses everywhere you look. It's ridiculous. This conference has been something special. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
The last 3 games that I have here for my biggest games, and I might have gone a little over 7, but my bad on that.
Okay.
Last 3 games, let me know if you agree. First one is going to be obviously the clash, Georgia at Alabama. It happens every year. These two teams play each other, and it's just such a great game.
Yep, I had that one on the list as well. That's the October 10th game in Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
A rematch of the 2025 SEC championship game. Alabama has won 10 of the last 12 matchups against Georgia. So that is something to keep in mind going into that game.
There you go. The next game.
I got a good one here if you don't mind me jumping in really
go
quickly.
For it, I want to see if it's the same one that I was thinking.
So I have Georgia Ole Miss. I am personally still on board with Ole Miss, even though they got rid of the coach, even though they, might have moved some pieces around. I really like the way that this Ole Miss team finished out the year, even knowing that Lane Kiffin is gone and knowing that, Lane Kiffin just gets money if Ole Miss just keeps going deeper and deeper into the playoffs, but still playing and still fighting for a college national championship. And then of course you still get that powerhouse in Georgia every year. That is a big slate in week 10. That's one of the bigger games in that week 10.
The next one, and I'm glad that you brought up Ole Miss because I haven't written off Ole Miss either. What Pete Golding can do, he put it on display. The fact that they made it all the way to the semifinal and then played Miami that as close as they did in that semifinal game was incredible. In the Fiesta Bowl, shout out Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Not sponsored, but
no.
I'm pretty high on Ole Miss simply for the fact that Pete Golden proved that he could be a good head coach. Trinidad Chambliss is back, Quan Lacey's back, and you know that the defense is going to be ready to go.
I don't know how Trinidad just keeps coming back and playing more college football, but he is still going to be a top quarterback in college football. So
I think this is my hot take for Trinidad Chambliss. He's going to be the most pro-ready at the end of this year. I think that he'll be the most pro-ready quarterback at the end of this year.
You think so?
Well, I mean, he's got the 6 or 7 years of experience. So, yeah, I'd say he's the most pro-ready guy.
Yeah, probably.
The next game on the Ole Miss side of things is LSU at Ole Miss. How could, that's just – and it's not even for the fact that this is two SEC Titans. I'm going to consider Ole Miss a Titan coming into this year of the SEC because I think they're a top 5 SEC team. So we'll call them an SEC Titan. This is a clash. And I mean, you could ignore everything on the field. Just literally ignore everything on the field. These two teams are going to be going at it and just battling. But it's all the noise surrounding this game in particular. Lane Kiffin returns to Oxford, Mississippi to face off against his former team, his former players, his former coach that decided to stay and take that head coaching position at Ole Miss. Yep. On top of that, you're coaching your daughter's boyfriend if you're Lane Kiffin.
You are.
Which is just like, if we're talking about strictly noise surrounding this game, all these different stories are just going to compile, and it's all going to come to a peak and a climax when these two teams hit the field. And that's the best part, is like there could be all this noise surrounding the game, and it doesn't matter once that ball is kicked off. It's literally all eyes are on the game. Let's figure out how we're going to win this game. We'll deal with everything else after. Do we think that this has a similar feel to when Ole Miss played at Tennessee and the mustard and the golf balls?
Yes,
like all
easily.
That, like it's going to be great.
Yes, that is going to be on hand 100%.
The hatred is going to be there for sure. Last game that I have for me. What's your last game, actually, I should say? Is there one that we haven't discussed yet?
I'm not sure. I mean, I had Texas LSU. I don't know if that was one that we'd already mentioned.
No, it's not, but I like it.
I'm bought into this LSU team, and obviously Texas is going to be good. LSU hosting Texas week 11, November 14th. So that's always something to keep in mind. Really solid environment down there in Baton Rouge. And then you have Arch Manning, who is a New Orleans native. Yeah. So that is something to keep around. Again, both of those teams at this point, getting into the middle of November, getting geared up for the playoffs, could probably be right around a top 15 team, both of them. So
yeah. Well, the Manning family, New Orleans natives, obviously.
Sure.
We know that.
Yep.
My last game that I wanted to point out here, and I saved it till the very end, so I hope that you all listening out there are sticking around for it. It's Miami at Notre Dame. I think that this is Catholics versus convicts, part 2 of the last 2 years, like part 5, I think, in general. These two teams hate each other. And I think that this is one of those sort of like it's not an interconference rivalry and there's no interconference hate. It's not like Ohio State and Michigan. It's not like, Texas A&M. It's not like this LSU Ole Miss sort of thing, which LSU Ole Miss isn't even like a traditional rivalry, but now it is one because of everything that's going on. Miami Notre Dame, one, it's a traditional rivalry from the 80s. Two, these are two programs that remember their history and live up to that history or attempt to live up to that history. And three, based off what happened last year, these two teams want to kill each other. I mean, the amount of talk that has gone between these two programs over the last 10 months, 11 months since their last meeting in week 1 of last year. Oh my gosh, these two teams hate each other. And the whole thing with the college football playoff, between that whole decision as to whether Notre Dame or Miami would get in, and then Miami gets the nod because the games have to mean something at the end of the day, and then Miami proved all the voters right by going to the national championship game. That's more fuel to the fire for Notre Dame.
100%.
And then on top, like these teams, like there's so much, and these two teams hate each other. Like I just keep going back to it because it's just two contradicting ideologies. Notre Dame, we're the good Catholic boys. We're going to go out there. We're going to give it our best shot. We're going to play football the right way. We're not going to showboat. We're not going to do this. Miami doesn't care.
Oh, they don't care.
Miami doesn't give a fuck, respectfully. No. Like they play they play the Miami brand of football that was installed by Coach Schnellenberger and Coach Johnson, and there were championships won. Butch Jones, obviously, as well. Would love Butch. Shout out Butch. Left before the national championship when we won that. Shout out Larry. Shout out Coker. But I mean, these two, this is just two contradicting ideology. They hate each other, man. I'm sorry, I kind of rambled on there, but they hate each other.
So this is very much a cupcake schedule for Notre Dame, right? We talk about it every single year. Well, we're an independent school, Well, you have Rice.
Yep.
As your week 2 game.
Yeah, that's good.
You play Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford. BYU is one of those cusp teams. Navy, that's at Foxborough in Massachusetts, so that'll be cool.
Nice.
But yeah, and then you could really have an undefeated Notre Dame team hosting Miami on November 7th that could easily make or break their playoff chances here again, because then if you finish off the year, BC, okay, SMU, Syracuse, who knows what's going to happen with Syracuse. They kind of float around that 20 to 25 range for a couple of weeks, and they lose a game they probably should win, and they're kind of out of the ranking system. But yeah, it's pretty much going to be Notre Dame undefeated hosting Miami for a really high seed in the college football playoff.
Both of these teams are going to come into this game undefeated.
Yeah.
One of these two teams is going to leave with their first loss of the season, and I think that's exactly what the schedule makers planned for this to be, because I think also last year that whole debate between who should get into the college football playoff, this game makes it so there's no chance of that debate even happening. Right. If it comes down to these two teams once again, whoever wins this head-to-head matchup on November 7th,
it should be simple.
Yeah, and I mean the rest of that November 7th slate is amazing, because you have Oregon, Ohio State, you have Ole Miss, LSU on that day as well. I think that's the Georgia-Alabama day, if I'm not mistaken. No,
Georgia Ole Miss.
Georgia Ole Miss is that day. No, so then what's the LSU Alabama's on the 7th. That's what it was.
Yes.
LSU Alabama. I got my dates mixed up there. But this is like November 7th. Cancel all weddings.
Week 10, dude.
Yeah.
Big week.
Cancel all weddings. I'm going to be working. I know that for a fact. I'm probably going to be stuffed in an editing den over at ESPN, which I can't wait for, by the way. Can't wait to get started there.
Dude.
But I'm going to be working every Saturday, and I can't wait because I'm literally going to be at the home of college football. And then I get to come on here on that Sunday or whatever my next day off is and just be like, yeah, man, this was just...
We're going to recap it.
Just recap it all. But that'll do it for this edition of the Barbs Breakdown. It's an extra long episode of the Barbs Breakdown, which I'm perfectly fine with. We're gonna get the scheduling right. Me and Riley, we're gonna figure out the scheduling here as we continue. I'm gonna start up my new job pretty soon. Riley's got a pretty clear schedule, I'm pretty sure, coming up in a little bit. So we're gonna try and keep pumping these out a little bit more as we get further and closer to football season. That will do it for this edition of the Barbs Breakdown. Riley McManus, thank you, sir, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. I don't know if you wanna tease what's coming up for us this fall.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So this is gonna be pretty cool. It's my first official year out of college, and I was really wondering what am I gonna do coming up here. Turns out I don't have to wonder anymore. Me and Riley are officially returning at Framingham State University. We're going to be calling games. I'm going to be taking care of football games. There's a lessened football schedule this year, which is shout out Anna Maria College for
No Anna
shutting down.
Maria.
Shout out
Goodbye,
them.
Anna Maria.
The school shut down. There's nothing we could do about that.
Right.
And then basketball season comes around, and me and Riley are going to hit a flow state pretty quickly. So it's going to be a ton of fun, man. I cannot wait. We're back. Dynamic Duo's back. We got a ton of great feedback from opposing teams last year, which was pretty fun. Like,
really cool.
We got it from our own. Like, there would be fans from the opposing team that would come up to us after games, win or loss, and they would say like, "Hey, this family member couldn't make it, so they turned on the stream. They just wanted to say how good of a job you guys did." And it's like, that's really cool because the majority of the Framingham State fans, they're at the game probably watching it.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool to have opposing fans come up to you and be like, "Hey, you're doing a really good job." That means that we're doing the right thing. So I want to give a quick shout out to Kathy, quick shout out to Larry as well over at the FSU athletic department for offering me back here, and obviously Riley was going to be back no matter what. So
yeah, I'm back on that list starting in the fall. I'm ready to go. I'm excited for it. Maybe some football for us too, but hopefully some hoops for sure.
If we could get a football game, that's what I want more than anything.
Absolutely.
Like, I know that me and you were guaranteed back for hoops. They didn't tell me anything about football. Normally I call those games, like, they had me do it solo. I'm kind of hoping that we could get a color broadcaster in there and we could have some fun.
Definitely, dude.
On the gridiron as well. But there it is. That will officially now do it for the Barbs Breakdown. Shout out Riley McManus for coming on. Shout out to all of you for listening, and we'll see you next time. This is Josh Barbara signing off. Peace.